Hello, this is Nat C Jones here with Nat C Company, and I'm a Master Facilitator. Today, I want to talk to those philanthropists, community developers, and the like that are wondering why the community is resisting them and their plans. Let's do it. Okay, so here is the number one reason that the community, and by the community I mean lower income communities or predominantly African American communities, Latino communities, communities of color, are resisting the plans of community developers, philanthropists, or anyone who's coming into the community that is not from that community with plans that they are saying they're here to assist the community with a problem. Why is the community resisting your plans? Well, first of all, let me share with you my experience with working in the community. I have been involved in community engagement for about 15 years. And I've worked with the city of Orlando. I've worked with the city of Eatonville, the city of Apopka here in Central Florida. And what's interesting is I see the same thing every time. There is a lack of trust from anyone coming from the outside into the community, and there is a lot of resistance that you will find. I remember having a meeting in South Apopka where I was partnering with, I think it was UCF's Small Business Incubator program. We were there with a couple of people from the Apopka newspaper, and they were just a few people who wanted to help the area because they noticed that there was need there. There's a lot of reasons for resistance, but the number one reason, hands down, is that many developers and philanthropists do not listen to the community. Listen to what I'm saying. Community developers and philanthropists and people, churches that say they want to help, many people that say they want to help the community are not listening to the community. What I have found, and I've worked with several nonprofit organizations who will remain nameless, who say that their mission is to bring transformation to these communities that have so much need. And the pattern is that they assume that they know what the community needs because they have money, and they have absolutely no knowledge of the culture of the community. They haven't spent any time with the people in the community, but they still arrogantly assume that they know exactly what the community needs. I remember being in a meeting once with an executive director of a nonprofit who was investing in a community here in Central Florida. And in the meeting, he said that, the community members are kind of like children. You have to guide them. And I was really offended by that because just because a community is poor does not mean that they are not intelligent people. And it's offensive when people look down on you, but it's annoying when people don't know that they're looking down on you. And so there is a way to approach the community with humility and with respect and with listening ears instead of assumptions that will make them and cause the people in the community to open up to you. One thing about people who live in low-income communities, they can smell a lie. They know how to read a room. They can tell when a person is being genuine. They can tell when people are being condescending. They can tell when you're trying to sell them a dream, but you really have your own plans. and it's just a vicious cycle. So I would start there. If you are really, really interested in improving your relationship with the community and creating plans that not only benefit the community but also benefit you, I would suggest bringing them to the table and listening to them, because there are what I call community experts in those communities. I remember when I conducted a meeting for one community, I asked for, I created an activity so that I could find out who had lived in that community the longest. And there was someone who had lived there for 72 years. People like that are community experts. If you want to know anything about the community, ask the people who live in the community. But if you don't ask them and you only look at the community as an opportunity to build buildings and you're not concerned with the people who live there, you are doing a disservice to that community and to yourself as a community developer. Finally, I would like to say that it's great that people want to give to the community, that they want to help the less fortunate, but do not have a savior complex. And by savior complex, I mean do not put yourself on a pedestal because you have resources and they don't. They have knowledge of the community, and that is invaluable information for you. Oftentimes, people think that money replaces everything. But these people in these communities have lived there, they've raised their children there, many of them generation after generation. They're hanging on. What they have is valuable. That's why you're there. I would suggest that developers, philanthropists do the right thing. And the right thing is to lead from behind. So there is an example. I heard this from Simon Sinek. He talked about, he did a study on the best leaders in the world, and he gave this example of Nelson Mandela. I think they asked one of Nelson Mandela's sons what makes him such a great leader, or either Nelson Mandela shared what makes him such a great leader. He learned from his father, and I think his father was a chief, and he said that one of the things he learned from his father when watching him, two things. One was that they always sat in a circle, and that his father was always the last one to speak. As the chief, he was the last one to speak because he wanted to hear everyone else first before he made his decision about what he was going to say. As a leader, community leader, developer, philanthropist, whatever you are or your organization represents, you have resources that can really benefit these communities. So you're a leader, but you don't always have to lead from the front. When it comes to leading in an area that you don't have the information, you only have outside information, you haven't had experiences, you haven't lived in these communities, it's best to lead from behind, which means allow the people who are the experts in the community to provide the information that will become the foundation of your plans. This is the best way to plan for a community, is with the people who live in that community at the planning table. Even if they don't have your education, even if they don't have your resources, they have the culture, and the culture is irreplaceable. So I hope this information was valuable to you. I hope as you continue to create plans and missions to help those who are less fortunate and to develop a community and transform lives, that you will be open to learn different ways to do things better. And because I believe the more you learn, the more effective you will be, and there will be less people hurt, less people displaced, and more lives actually transformed. Have a good one.